Another question. Will you support tax credits for families who don't want to send their kids to indoctrination camps? Again, I'm reading this. Or would you support an ESA, an Empowerment Scholarship Account program, as an alternative to public school education that is notoriously underfunding special education, limiting what children are taught and teaching ridiculous curricula? Long question, but that's a good one.
Okay, so public schools. First off, I believe to be a staff member in public school that you need to have a psychological and criminal background check every single year. There are too many tenured professors who teach this radical rhetoric who they cannot get out because they are tenured, and this is one way to do it. Secondly, too many teachers have a criminal background that they should not be around children, and they're not getting weeded out, and I have a problem with that. Third, indoctrination, like the critical race theory. What is that crap? Come on, it didn't work back in the 1900s and you want to reintroduce it? I feel like the Democratic ploy is to like find systems that have failed, like Marxists and communists, and say, we can make them work, but you can't. So I have a problem with public schools. I moved out of Littleton to where I live now because I refuse to allow my children to go to school in a school system that I did not support. And so I moved to rural America. And I mean, I've always been a country girl anyway, so it fit for me, but not everyone has that opportunity. And so I believe that you should have school enrollment of choice. I believe that public funding should go to what the public wants to teach their children. We used to teach abstinence when I was in school, and then we moved to sexual safe sex, which they didn't really do anything with that either. And now we're teaching this like radical LGBTQ sexual dominance. I mean, just ridiculousness. I don't want my kids learning that. And so I actually believe that we need to revamp the entire public school system and put the power back into the parents' hands, because too much of this cult-like mentality is being taught behind our backs. And when you leave your kids to go to school so that you can go to work 8 hours a day, you should feel confident in the content that they are being taught. I want to attack teachers unions. I don't think we should have teachers unions. I think that we should actually make teachers state employees so that they are mandated to a higher level of pay benefits, salary benefits, but also, performance benefits, because there are too many teachers that stay in the system for too long that should have never become teachers in the first place. As far as benefits for homeschooling, God, that is such a great concept. Like, why did we not think about this 20 years ago? Because the moms who raised their kids 20 years ago or who want to homeschool with a Christian-based rhetoric, they don't get this opportunity. And so, yes, 100% yes. Like, I am behind this. I think as a parent, if that's the avenue that you want to take, you should, and you should be incentivized, because it is a full-time job teaching your kids. And people who say, full-time moms isn't a job, stay-at-home parents, it's not a job. Come to my house, because I guarantee after 2 hours, you're going to be exhausted. So I believe that we do have a lot of opportunities to build upon that. And I do think that for Christians, especially, I am a Christian, it is really hard to find schools that are not private schools that teach beliefs that are in line with our religious beliefs. I was lucky enough that I grew up in Longmont, and back when Longmont was Longmont and not the next Boulder. And I went to a school that still had Bible study. We still did Christian athlete lunches. We still said prayers before football games. And so I was very blessed in my youth. Unfortunately, we don't have that today, but I would like to bring that back. And so I will be partnering with both groups to improve public schools in the institution and also offer more opportunities for the parents that would like to teach from home. And as far as I think I missed on special education, oh my God, do we not have enough resources or teachers for that? So we need to expand on that. But we also, part of what I want to do is introduce conflict resolution classes biannually every year, mandated from 5th grade through high school, because we tell kids when something's bothering you, go sit in a closet, go put a safety pin on, don't talk about it, and here's your next mass shooter. I want to actually teach the kids using the techniques that I have in my profession to verbally de-escalate, to handle situations of chaos, to handle conflict, because not all conflict is bad. Conflict creates great change. Just look at Albert Einstein and the relative theory. We can actually give them the tools, though, to get past that, and we will create better leaders of tomorrow who are able to handle chaos and able to handle pandemics. we're not giving our kids any tools right now.
Absolutely. I'm looking into this quite a bit, and like critical race theory. I've got an interview coming up, hopefully with Alex Newman and maybe Dr. Duke Pesta, where we're going to be talking about comprehensive sexualization education, pornographic. The schools go to great measures so the parents don't know what the children are seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I understand even some Chromebooks have facial recognition. So as soon as a parent peeks around, if they're having virtual remote learning, to see what little Johnny's learning today, it goes black. Oh no, parent, no, they can't see this, because it's unbelievable, pornographic, the stuff that they're going through. It's so sad, and we're going to be covering
indoctrination.
that. Yeah, indoctrination camps, absolutely. And, the drag queen story hours in schools and libraries, the gender dysphoria, try to get children, they can start the chemical business of leading them into another gender at a very young age. And I'm sure you know all of that, but I'm looking forward to raising awareness with all of this. And like you say, children, like conflict resolution, they're just not getting this. And children are having a difficult time distinguishing between truth and misinformation. Why would they know otherwise if they see someone like a Cardi B doing a video that's just disgusting versus someone, how do you know? How do you separate what's right and wrong? And we have the opportunity, my husband and I, this past year, of homeschooling a very dear, wonderful friend, and she's just doing so well. But we're doing a lot of life skills, and she's learning how to garden and how to. We had a competition about pulling weeds just yesterday, and things like that she can learn how to do, and how to defend herself when someone is teasing her too much, bullying her or whatever. That we talk about that. So anyway, it's just so important, and homeschooling is great. And also we're looking into, as you may know, parents are dropping their kids off at school, and they're not aware that their children are being irradiated, their bodies and brains and future generations, from the wireless technology, the routers above their heads and the laptops, and it is cumulative. And we get into that a lot. I have a lot of videos about that. But in addition to that, and the COVID measures and all of this Common Core curriculum from the UN that, sorry.
Well, I think you actually led right into another perfect question, is my stance on energy and 5G.
Okay.
I think that's a perfect segue.
Absolutely.
Gosh, energy. So first off, I'm a real estate agent, and I often get asked my thoughts on putting solar panels on people's houses. And I tell them, don't do it, because they never pay for themselves. It's 15% ROI, which is return on investment, and it's subsidized by the government. They never pay for themselves, and neither do the wind turbines. The wind turbines leak oil into the ground. They cause radiation. All those wind farms on the eastern side of Colorado are causing detrimental health effects. And we were told this before they were ever installed, and Polis ignored it. Oh my God, do I get fired up about this? Okay, so first off, I love the idea of clean energy, okay? But I love the idea of clean energy that is worth a damn. 15% ROI, if you apply that to any other business model, no one would ever invest their money into that. But the government does, which just blows my mind. Okay, so clean energy, nuclear, oil and gas, and hydropower. Okay, coal, I like coal too. And I'll tell you why I like coal. I believe in Colorado that we significantly are not using enough of our hydropower resources, which we have an abundance of, but also we have the opportunity to take our grids offline. We talk about EMP blasts, we talk about the natural climate event that just happened in Texas. We have the opportunity to really do clean energy and do it right, but you got to get government hands out of it, and you got to get the lobbyists to stop putting zeros to it, because it's not worth it. With 5G and all of the antennas and the wireless, again, I think that the health impacts have been under-researched and 100% ignored. I do believe that if you're going to put up a cell phone tower, you need to understand the radiation levels that come off of that, but also we need to have scientific studies done that are proven facts, so we can say that they cannot be within a certain zone or certain distance of schools, of residential areas. From a real estate perspective, it's really hard for me to sell houses that are right next to cell phone towers, right next to electrical panels because of this. And it's not because it's just an eyesore, it's because it really does affect your health. And we as a society have gotten so used to being glued to your cell phones, being on the internet all the time, that we've overlooked those health benefits and the health detriments that are associated with those. So I actually plan on shutting down a lot of the wind turbines out east if I get the opportunity to, because of the health impacts. They're just not possible to keep up. And I might not be able to do that to the measures that I want because of private property ownership, but I can prevent more from going in. Along with the solar panels, not a big fan of solar panel farms specifically because it takes so much energy just to get them started. They don't store the energy well. I mean, they're just a waste of space. They're a waste of money. They never pay for themselves. They end up in landfills when they get broken. I mean, it's just detrimental. And the lithium that we have to mine to get these things even operational, you want to talk about killing the economy, killing the world, killing the globe, mine lithium. Smart cars, Teslas, they're all junk. Coal, let me tell you why I like coal. Other than the normal resources of coal is a really good energy source and it's God-given. There is a new solar panel that has been invented out of Montrose that you can get the solar panel up to 85% efficiency, and it can hold the power for up to a year using the remnants of coal to do that. That's smart. And it's so creative that the guy that's created this, he's getting sued now by all of the other solar panels because they know once he goes to market, he's going to be out of business. Like everybody else is going to be out of business. And so there's a lot of stuff that I think we can move towards actually is clean energy, but we got to get away from this wind turbine solar panel stuff because it does nothing. And again, for the 5G stuff, we really need to be looking at the detrimental health impacts before we just let towers go up, before we let towers go on schools, the wireless that's associated with them. We have a lot of work to do on this, and I am completely open to it. I know I'm not the smartest person on it. I know I do have a position on it, but I believe that we will be partnering with some very intellectual people on how to combat this moving forward and make sure that our health and safety are put first and foremost.
Excellent. So strong. And just kind of to tie in with that, we just got a comment here that is, I know it's really a great thing, that the Children's Health Defense went blank, RFK Jr. And the Environmental Health Trust, that they're both suing the FCC as we speak. And there are over 2,000 articles with the detrimental health effects on wireless. No more studies are needed, exclamation point. So yeah, that's really a very strong thing. And I think I mentioned to you, Danielle, that I don't know, I'm not the smartest on it either. And I've certainly been called Pollyanna a time or two. But, when anyone rolls out something new to the marketplace, whether it's glyphosate putting into our food, for the GMOs and poisoning us that way through our food, or, vaccines or the shot, whatever, all of these things, the cell towers. And I think I shared with you the high levels right downtown in Denver at the Capitol, where you'll be having a desk off the charts, totally off the charts. Yep. Alert. And my husband and I are both impacted by that. We would take light rail downtown. Everybody's got their cell phones on, the metal box, and go downtown to the high density. We went for a smart meter hearing a few years ago, came back at rush hour, everybody on those smart cell phones except us. And I got home, I had the worst vertigo, really, really bad from that. But what about say, hey, why don't we just halt? No more deployment, no more rollout of the small cell towers. And let's have a moratorium until appropriate, until you guys can prove that it's safe. The onus is not on us to prove that it's harmful. You're the guys with the idea, so you prove to us that it's safe. So I don't know.
I love that. And that's honestly, so Jared Polis is going to be closing down the nuclear and coal plant in Moffett and Pueblo. And that is such a huge detriment to their economy. But also, I want to see the proof. Like we haven't seen any proof as to why we need to shut those down. And it's the exact same thing. I do think that we need a moratorium on that to say, you know what, let's stop passing this legislation. And this goes back to those subject matter experts. Right now, Prop 16, you know, is introduced, and that's going to be attacking the cattle industry. And it was introduced by two people who've never set foot on a ranch. But where's the subject matter experts behind the legislation? And so I really do think that we have an opportunity to take the lawsuit from the FCC. And I am so looking forward to seeing what they say, because I think that a lot of legislation is going to come out of that result. And I'm hoping that they're in favor of identifying that the facts are there. You can't ignore it. And I'm really sick and tired of these high-level courts who have facts in front of them just going by the wayside, going by the special interest groups, going by the lobbyists, and saying, what bad health information? We didn't think there was enough proof in the pudding. Well, I guarantee you, once you grow a third arm and a third eye, and you know you have liver cancer and all this other stuff, you might actually believe us. You know, if you don't think there's any proof, why don't you go live next to a cell phone tower and tell me in about 10 years how you're feeling? So I mean, there's just this ignorance, there's this buy-in, there's this corruption. And so I'm really looking forward to see what happens with that, because I do believe that I will be a force to be reckoned with when I get to the Capitol. And it's for stuff like this. It's common sense. Let's stop allowing these politicians, these slime balls, to look over the facts and put their paychecks and their pocketbooks first above the people of America and Colorado.
Absolutely. Yay. And as you probably know, big telecom, they have big pockets. Their lobbying budget is astronomical, and they keep clinging to the IEEE almost 30-year-old antiquated standards on that only focuses on thermal heating from the radiation. They don't look at the other things, and there have been measures to try to get that updated. That they say, oh well, no, you know, everything, even the American Cancer Society says that this is fine and it's safe, and we're well within those standards. No, you can look at a bar chart and see where U.S. is compared with other countries, Germany, everywhere, and Take Back Your Power. Josh Del Sol, the producer, director of that award-winning film, he has a wonderful chart of the bar charts and everything. So just laying out the corruption. And
we now have vast amounts of published science on microwave radiation and health effects. The data we're going to look at are all published science, testing results, or public standards. At the bottom end of the radiation scale of what's called power density or signal strength is the minimum level at which cell phones will work, which was found to be 0.2 billionths of a microwatt per centimeter squared. Pine needles were found to age prematurely at 0.000027. At short-term exposures of 0.05, children aged 8 to 17 experienced headache, irritation, concentration difficulties, and behavioral problems. Point 1 is the biobiology or building biology guideline for extreme concern. 1.0 produced sperm DNA fragmentation and a decrease in sperm viability in vitro. Also at 1.0, the science shows the following bodily effects can occur: headaches, dizziness, fatigue, insomnia, chest pain, difficulty breathing, and indigestion. 2.5 saw altered calcium metabolism in heart muscle cells. 4.0, changes in the hippocampus affecting brain memory and learning. And at 6.0, DNA damage in cells. So where are smart meters on this list? Electrical Power Institute in December 2010 measured a single Itron smart meter with pulses up to 7.93 microwatts per centimeter squared. Our own testing indicated approximately 8.0 with 1 meter. These tests are at a close distance, approximately 1 foot away from the meter, but an infant's crib could be just as close on the other side of the wall where the meter or bank of meters are installed. Even though there are all these known health effects at levels far lower, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Luxembourg see fit to set the standard at 9.5. And China, Poland, and Russia, 10.0. This is the same level at which behavior has been altered, producing reflexes of avoidance following 30-minute exposures. A room of 12 smart meters, very common and even a conservative number in an apartment building, tested at 19.8 microwatts per centimeter squared. This is hundreds of times higher than levels which clearly indicate harmful effects. So, how can utilities and governments get away with forcing these devices on everyone? This is how. In Canada and the US and several other civilized countries, the safety limit is set at 600 to 1,000 microwatts per centimeter squared. This so-called safety limit is literally tens of thousands of times higher than levels which are known to damage health, according to peer-reviewed published science.
That is my pet baby. I have been on that for over a decade, and many, many videos about that. Interviewed Associate Professor Ole Johansson, a world leading authority on that topic. And I asked him during our interview, I said, Ole, are we causing our own self-extinction? And he said, that's a very good question. I believe we are, Christine. And he talks in his wonderful Swedish accent. And he said, I believe that if we continue along this path, that children in about 5 generations it'll be very difficult for them to conceive and to carry a pregnancy to a healthy full term. So that should get everyone's attention, I think. So anyway.